What's going on, everybody? Double Check Effect Sports Code coming at you with another video. Shout out to all who have liked and subscribed to the channel. I do appreciate it. I took a few days off just to recover and recoup a little bit. Took a break from predictions, but saw an interesting article yesterday that was put out. I meant to put out yesterday, and it's interesting that we've been talking about John Madden over the past month or two on this channel, and how now it's been released that Nicolas Cage is going to portray John Madden in a upcoming movie. Like, this is for real. The first time I saw this, I was a little taken back by it because there are plenty other great actors that could play John Madden, but of course they're going with Nicolas Cage, and we've talked a little bit about how Nicolas Cage is also tied to Janus as Aaron Rodgers, and John Madden, of course, is tied to John Candy. And then there's this big parallel of these two connecting. So first, want to give a shout out to Amplified Truth for putting me on to the knowledge of Nick Cage being Janus with Aaron Rodgers. He's got a lot of great info on that as well. So I'm just piggybacking on some of the information he's provided. So make sure you like and subscribe to his channel. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about my information that I found that connects John Candy with John. So go back and watch this video I made about it's about a month and a half ago now, talking about this very thing. So wanted to dive into this today. Thought it was very interesting, a little unique nonetheless, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. So I think the first thing to do is to watch this video on the NFL Network channel. Basically, they're discussing other options of who should have played the role of John Madden. And take a look at what this guy has to say. I thought it was very interesting.
Thoughts on this about who I would have picked? It is going to be Nicolas Cage. Apparently that's happening. I'm with you, Akbar, in the sense that there's many great actors who are no longer with us who I would love to play that role. And the one that really breaks my heart is John Candy. John Candy playing John Madden would have been absolutely a symphony. They're kind of equally beloved in their own ways in terms of their legacy and what they left in the video games and the films and the broadcasting.
So there you have it right there. It shows and tells you about how, in a way of admittance, they're admitting that they're very equal. Again, are they one and the same? This is what we've been saying since this video. So the guy even references the very image of John Madden and John Candy as being very similar. And go back and watch that video. There's a lot of great information specifically on that. But what I wanted to talk about today was the connection of how Nicolas Cage and Aaron Rodgers tie into John Candy and John Madden. Okay, go back and watch that video. This is a true Janus tribute because, of course, Aaron Rodgers has referenced and mentioned Nicolas Cage on multiple occasions. Okay, and this is the whole Janus tribute, I believe, that they're doing. Again, remember, John Madden won Super Bowl 11, right? Super Bowl 11. Again, Janus is 11. Now Aaron Rodgers wins Super Bowl 45. Geometry is 45. So there's a lot of parallels here that I want to connect here. So of course the first one right here is it was the last year he was on the Packers. He shows up to training camp dressed as Cameron Poe from Conair, right? So a great movie connecting the two. And as you can see, they're almost identical here. Again, the twins theme alive and well. Why would he do that? Like if there's a message being cleared, here something, whatnot. So this is just the first incident in which they, are attributing the twins ritual there. Also, if you remember this, this game featuring the Packers and the Bears. This was a Sunday Night Football game where there was this guy in the stands that looked exactly like Aaron Rodgers. One he's got more of a beard, the other one's a little bit more clean shaven. So this is a clear Janus ritual again. And I thought that was interesting was the score of that game. As you can see, 30 to 45 was the final score. And I found the phrase here, Nicolas Cage, John Madden, Janus Tribute, so it equals 345, okay? And that was the final score of this game. No coincidence, take away 0345. You know, they're in clear reference to, you know, because Nicolas Cage is going to play John Madden in the movie. And notice the 345, and in that game, the final score was 345. All right. I thought that was interesting. The connection piece here, I believe, where did it go? I keep missing it. Okay. Also notice the 270. Okay, so in the very simple, we've been talking about this too in Latin, Janus twins, 270. So yeah, one and the same. Okay, I think this is very interesting. And then also we got to go back to also there's a statue, right, of Nick Cage head in the locker room. Okay, so see if I can find that one here. Let's see. Sorry, it's a little. So yeah. So also, I'm gonna fast forward this part.
We need to get it down.
Yeah. This is a when he's on the Packers once again. Aaron Rodgers, as you can see, there's a statue of Nick Cage in his locker. So let's see if we can. So he's kind of looking at it right here. So yeah, as you can see, notice he doesn't put it up to his head. They ask him to. They're like, no, there's going to be too many memes about that. So as you can see, there's a reference here to.
There might be.
To your face.
No, I can't.
No, I can't. I can't put that up to my face. Very, very deliberate about that because, you know, if he did that, a lot of people would, you know, make a meme out of it. So yeah, very interesting. And these, you know, time and time again, they're referencing this and how he is, you know, in clear reference to the Janus Tribute there. Okay. And then of course there's this one more incident I want to make up is when Rodgers is also famous for throwing a Hail Mary pass to Jeff Janis. Okay. This was a Hail Mary. Okay. See if it'll play for me here. Oh, right here. I think so.
He resets Starks. They are.
So this is going to be the play here where he throws the Hail Mary.
Ball is.
Let's see if it's here.
Maybe one of the.
And Janus does he
Stop it!
Oh, please!
What a catch!
That's insane.
Oh my! That may be one of the great throws.
Throws a Hail Mary pass to Jeff Janis, nonetheless. Again, another clear Janus ritual there, showing the correlation to Nick Cage and John Madden. Okay, I want to go back to some information that I have on John Madden and John Candy and how this could relate to the Super Bowl. I have some really good notes here. The biggest thing that I've noticed too is this very fact here is that I think I have the NFC, you know, really locked up in terms of what could happen. And I'm going to make a Patreon showing my final picks. So stay tuned for that as I make my, you know, eventual decision. But I think the biggest thing to note here is, you know, from the date of the death of Madden to Super Bowl 59 is 1,139 days. And, you know, of course, John Madden died at the age of 85. In Latin, the phrase is 1139, just like the amount of days. Okay, so if you take a look here, I think I might have maybe, but let's do it again just for fun. We got time today. So remember, he died on December 28th of 2001. Okay, and then to the Super Bowl will be a span of exactly 1,039 days. Okay, which I thought was very strange. You know, so that's a very unique connection there in itself. Again, because of the word, you know, just take this away. Twins in Latin is 1139. Okay, these are just some notes that I want to review that I think they're important. So what I also noticed, you know, with John Madden, his first commentary, right? So it's about John Madden, the commentator now. His first was Super Bowl 16, the one he did, and the last one he did was Super Bowl 43. So if you add those two together, it equals 59. Okay, which leads us to this year's connection. So if you go to the calculator, if you go back in time to the 49ers versus Bengals first game, when they won their first championship, when John Madden did his first one, to this day, okay, the Super Bowl 59, you get 43 years and 16 days, okay? That's pretty astounding. Again, another connection to John Madden. What's more convincing, too, is, if you add up all the ones he commentated as a broadcaster, all the way, he did 11, again, because he is Janus, number 11. If you add them all up together, okay, 16, 18, 21, 24, 26, 31, 33, 36, 37, 40, 43, you get 325, okay? 325 total. And of course, this year's Super Bowl takes place with, let's see if it shows us this here. Classic table, I think that's one we want. So notice that, the Super Bowl is going to be taking place with 325 days remaining in the year, okay? With the 43-16 connection, okay? I know we want to make that prediction here, but it's getting it's getting better. And again, I have some good theories now as to what could happen. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. 325 days left in the year. If you add up all the Super Bowls he commentated, it's 325. So he's clearly connected to this. And then, from the time of his first, his death, 1139. Again, but Nicolas Cage, what an interesting character to do this. I couldn't believe this was actually real when I saw it. And then there's just time and time again where they're referencing that. So I wanted to dive in a little bit more as to, why it could be, I have it down. I think I don't want to give it all away, but I think, and from the NFC, it's hard to envision only two teams that I think even have a remote chance. There's a lot of good narratives this year, but this is what I saw, which is making a interesting case for Green Bay. So what I noticed about this was Eagles will open 2024 season in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. Now, this information was dropped on April 10th, 2024. It's a news article, Chris McPherson here. So, Eagles, they knew the Eagles were going to be there. Let's see. Eagles will open their 2024 regular season in Sao Paulo, which again is St. Paul. Okay, Madden from Minnesota, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Brazil. This is what Sao Paulo means. I just want to make sure we watch this. Sao Paulo means. Okay, let's see if it shows us St. Paul, right? And of course, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the Twin Cities. So they're opening their game up in St. Paul. So it's like kind of interesting. Like this is the first time they're ever going there to Brazil. And subtly, they're playing in Minneapolis, if you think about it, which is interesting to me. But it's also the day in which it was revealed. So look, it says against the Green Bay Packers, the league unveiled on Wednesday morning. So on April 10th, okay, which just so happens to be John Madden's birthday, okay, on April 10th, they unveiled the Green Bay Packers will be playing in St. Paul, Brazil. All right. Now, what's more interesting about that is if you take a look, from that day of John Madden's birthday to the day of that announcement is exactly 88 years. Okay. 88 years. And we also know that, John Madden, the ordinal cipher equals 88. So 88 years on his birthday, would have been his 88th birthday, they announced that the Packers will play in St. Paul, which is the Twin City. Okay. And you got to think about, what's really standing out to me about the Packers this year is the 14 generations. Okay. And the Bible references here, from Abraham to David, 14 generations, okay? Now, Abraham could represent Brett Favre, right? Because, think of his name, it means favored, right? Brett favored, okay? To David, right? And David could represent the middle line, which is Rodgers, okay? Because remember, 31 to 45 is 14 years, okay? Now, second generation set, King David, you argue is Rodgers 2, again, coming of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 14 may be to the coming Messiah, which is, 14 years later, from 45 to 59 is Jordan Love, right? So, I want to make a video specifically on this because I think it deserves its attention, but I just wanted to point that out as something to give you guys for today. I thought, where was I going to go with, this? Also, I think is interesting. I think you'll appreciate too. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this part. This is kind of freestyling. So now, what I want to look at here is the back of the dollar bill, okay? And I want you to take a look at this, the Eye of Providence here, okay? So we're going to count these pyramids up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13 levels of this pyramid here. This 14th one is the Eye of Providence, okay? So the back of the dollar bill, okay? The reason I think that's interesting is because, 14 not only is it's the 14th triangular is 105, okay? And we're going into the 105th season of the NFL. And, I couldn't help but notice that the 14th pyramid, if you will, is the Eye of Providence, okay? So what does that mean, okay? So I think this is a very interesting tie that I want to make here. And notice the, when you get to this number, 105, you have 35 and 21 and 77, okay? I'm giving you guys a lot of information here, but I don't care. Because look at this. So if you look, the Packers last time they won in New Orleans, the score was 35 to 21. Okay, against the New England Patriots. Again, Brett favored, right? He was highly favored. Won the game. Okay. In New Orleans, 21-35. And then if you look at the number, okay, to get to that top, 77th composite number as well, right? So if it shows us here, it'll show us 96 season, 77th regular season, okay? And then this is talking about Cleveland relocating. So again, this is something to highly consider due to the nature of this, because, I think John Madden, even admitted to, the Green Bay Packers being his favorite team. Again, the 14 generations. But yeah, all tying it back to, Nicolas Cage, the Janus twin, John Madden, the Janus twin, combining, right? So this is what the video is about today. I added some good information there at the end that we're going to make for a next video on Patreon when we get a Patreon video going. But again, it's something to consider. I think the Packers for the NFC are in the top 3 for me. You have to consider them in the top 3 in the discussion. So what I'm going to do, is going to make a video. I'm going to just make a Patreon video. I'm going to give my top 3 picks from each side, discussing and outlining why each of them is a good narrative. So make sure you look out for that here in the next week or two. And then subscribe to that as we get going into the 105th NFL season. Double Check Effect Sports Code. Have a great day.